At the beginning of the chapter, we see Harley Quinn, who is riding her bike and going to Brooklyn. On the way, she talks to her hamster and tells him that she loves to move around in different cities. She further says that one of her old patients in Arkham Asylum died recently and he left his apartment to Harley in his will. It was just what she needed because Joker left her present which had a bomb in it. Although she survived the blast, most of her belongings got destroyed and she needed a place to stay. The things which were survived the blast, Harley took them all and placed them on her bike as she was moving. The hamster says to her why was she happy about it. He says that it was the worst trip ever for him as all the wind was messing up his fur, and many bugs got stuck in his teeth along the way. He complains to her that she doesn't have any idea how he felt when everyone on the way stared at him. Harley says that she is thinking of dropping one of her furry treasures in the ocean if it doesn't shut up. She was threatening the hamster and was telling him to shut up. Soon Harley sees a dog who was being dragged on the road by his owner. The owner of the dog was busy talking to someone on the phone. He was not paying attention to the condition of his dog. The dog looks at Harley and she takes pity on him. Soon the dog starts to cry and Harley, after seeing it couldn't control herself, she at once takes out her whip and strikes the leash of the dog and she cuts it. After that, she attacks the owner of the dog with her whip, and her whip gets stuck in that man's neck. Harley picks up the dog and places it on her bike. She was planning to take the dog with her, and while doing so she drags the owner of the bike on the road. The dog felt relief after getting its freedom, so he licks Harley's face. Harley happily says to the dog that she was also very happy. While they were moving, the dog's drool falls on the hamster, and the hamster in anger yells at him for it. After a while, Harley passes by a biker, who then takes out a wanted poster of Harley to confirm if it was her. He was happy as he thinks that he can easily kill her and get the reward. But as he approaches Harley bikes, the dog starts to bark at him. Harley asks the dog what's wrong. She looks towards where the dog was barking and sees a man who was pointing a gun at her. As the man shoots, Harley at once applies the brake and she jumps off the bike. The bullet hits a guy in passing by a car and a major accident occurs. The man on the bike also gets hit because of this, and he falls on the ground. On the other hand, Harley searches her language and finds her hammer. Then she tells the dog to stay put while she takes care of that guy. She turns towards the guy and says that she doesn't know him and also she doesn't know the reason why he attacked her. All she knows is that she spent her whole day packing her luggage on the bike, but because of him everything was a mess. She starts attacking that man with her hammer, and the man tries to save himself, so he tries to shoot her but Harley hits his hand with her hammer. Then she attacks him multiple times and finally asks him for his last words. Harley bashes his head with the hammer, and she uses so much force that the head of that gets separated from his body and falls into the river. Sometime later, Harley finally arrives at Coney Island. She looks at a building and prays that the place that she got should be it. After seeing the number on the building, she gets happy because her wish was fulfilled. Soon a man named Tony comes there and meets her. He says to Harley that she must be the new owner of this place. Harley asks him how did he know that. Tony says that he knows everything that happens in that place and also because Chrome Drome told him about Harley's appearance. He tells Harley that Chrome has been waiting for her. At that moment, Chrome comes in his car and greets Harley. He tells Harley that all the paperwork was done and she was now the new owner of this place. Then Chrome says that they should take a look at the building. He tells Harley that the first floor of the building was being used for commercial purposes, and the second floor consists of 8 apartments. Then he hands Harley an envelope and tells her that all the names and details of the tenants were in that envelope. He says that Harley would be responsible for getting the rent every month from the tenants. He further informs her that 3 tenants were already late on rent. Tony tells Harley that he was one of them and says that they would work up a deal to sort this matter. Then they all go towards the second floor where Harley meets up with the rest of the tenants and Chrome informs her that they all work on the first floor in one way or another. After that, they move towards the third floor and Chrome informs Harley that this floor was mainly used for storing lumber and other things. It was a storage unit. Harley looks around and says that the place was big enough for her to park a car there. Then he takes her to the 4th floor and he tells her that this floor belongs to her now. He also tells Harley that there is a separate elevator in the back, which directly connects the ground floor with the 4th floor. Tony says to Harley that the previous owner was a bit weird. He wanted privacy. Harley was not able to believe her eyes and she starts to sing in happiness. Chrome then takes Harley to the rooftop and says to her that she had direct access to it and she can do whatever she wants to do there. Harley jumps on a pile of garbage and happily says that she thinks that she died and is now in the heavens. She says that it was perfect, but the hamster says to her that it was way too perfect. At that moment, Chrome calls Harley's name and Harley realizes that there was some kind of catch here. Chrome tells her that as she is now the owner of the building, she has to pay all the real estate taxes and insurance that were pending. Harley asks him was the rent was not covering all that. Chrome tells her that the rent only covers about 45% of the total cost. The remaining was due and Harley was the one who is supposed to pay. He says that he thinks that Harley has a job and she will be able to pay it on time. Harley makes a face and says that she will take care of it. Chrome tells her that all the details were in the envelope and tells her that she can call him whenever she wants his help. Tony comes to Harley and says that she has no money. Harley says although she has no money, she still has her resources. The next morning, Harley was sitting on a bench thinking about all this when Tony comes there. He says to Harley that he and his friends have delivered her luggage to her apartment, and they park her bike in a safe place. Harley thanks him and Tony say that he has another gift for her. He gives her a bag and says that there is a newspaper in it where she can find job ads and a pen to circle and highlight those jobs. Plus it has coffee and a bagel for her to eat. Harley gets excited by this and she hugs Tony. Meanwhile, an assassin was aiming at Harley, but because she was too far away and was jumping around, the assassin says that she has to get her hands dirty this time. Then Harley goes to her apartment and applies makeup on her skin. Meanwhile, she talks to the hamster and tells him that she has 2 different interviews today, and for the first one she has to cover her skin. She says that she has to earn at least 6 guards if she wants to keep this building. Then Harley goes to first place and she gives her best. At the end of the day, her superior tells her that she reviewed her papers and will let her know in a week. Harley thanks her and goes out of the building. In the night she goes to the second place. This time she was not wearing any makeup and was dressed like how she usually is. She enters the building and asks a girl about the place where tryouts were being conducted. She tells her to go straight. Harley goes and meets up with a girl who introduces herself and tells Harley that her name was Summer. She asks Harley was she there for tryouts. Harley says that she was. Summer then gives Harley some paperwork and tells her to sign at the bottom. She tells Harley that the papers say that she will be responsible for anything that may happen to her, any injury, theft, or anything else. Harley signs the papers and Summer tells her to put on her skates and get in the circle. She tells her to destroy her opponents, on which Harley says that she can do that. Summer tells the rule of the game to everyone. She says that this game was called Renegade Roller Derby, and each team will have to work in offensive as well as defensive ways. Each team will have one jammer in their team, whose job is to make sure that other team members fall. The remaining team members will try their best to stay on their feet and to protect their jammer. And the person who will be left standing last will get hired. As the game begins, Harley easily defeats everyone else, and at the end of the game, she was the only one left standing. Summer and her team come to Harley and tell her that they will hire her. They say that there was a match on Saturday night, and if they won the match, they will pay Harley some percentage of the winnings, and if they lost the match, Harley will get some drinks and free medical treatment. Harley agrees to this and goes back home. Later in the night, Harley was laying on the rooftop and she talks to the hamster. Harley says that if he gets the job, she wins weekly matches, and if she raises the rent of 2 businesses downstairs, she will be able to pay off all the dues. While they were busy talking about this, the assassin sneakily comes there. The assassin takes out a sword and was to kill Harley. At that moment, Tony shoots the assassin and kills her. Harley quickly gets up and searches her body, where she finds a poster of her with a bounty. She says that she just came here and there was a bounty on her head already. Tony says that's what it likes to live here. And that's all for today, guys. Stay tuned to get more new videos. Stay safe and keep watching.